can do it quickly.
All right, we're going to call the meeting, the Economic Development Council meeting to order. It is Wednesday, September 1st at 6 p.m. And we are meeting in the Goffstown Town Hall. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, going to call the roll. Joanne.
Here.
Dick.
Here.
John.
Here.
Excellent.
Oh, he is it?
You
I
didn't know?
thought that was a game.
Jeremy.
Here.
Chet.
Here, Select Board Rep.
Karen.
Here, Planning Board Rep.
Bonnie is not present. Ellen.
Here.
Joanne.
Here.
I'm Greg and I am here, and Charlie is not here. Okay. All right. So we're gonna, I think the last time we had a meeting was a couple months ago, right?
Yes, I
July,
think the
right?
last meeting was
July.
July.
Yeah,
July 7th, yeah, okay.
July
Um,
7th was the last meeting.
Yep. Do we have any correction to the minutes? I had a chance to look at them. But the minutes are pretty spot on, so, do you have a motion to approve the minutes from 7/7/2021?
I'll move to approve.
All right, do you have a second?
Second?
All right. Dick,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Chet,
Abstain.
all right, Karen,
Abstain.
Bonnie's not here, Ellen,
Abstain.
Joanne,
Here, I'm here.
very good.
Yes.
Greg approves, motion carries. All right, so old business, so approval of the flyer to hand out to business owners. This is this flyer right here, right?
So, what was that? Oh, your phone. It sounded like a fire alarm. This is the flyer that you looked at in July and made a few suggestions, and we've now included, John worked on this, he's now included Jeremy's photo, along with a QR code at the bottom for people who want to link up to the town's website. John, do you have anything else? I mean, you're the one who did this.
Yes, you covered it pretty well. So I made a couple of, we talked about a couple of grammatical changes at the last meeting with, I think we added town business first with industries, and we changed a couple of things just grammatically, but overall, I don't think too much has changed. The overall, kind of intent and purpose, just high level information on what we do when we meet, and then the QR code added in case they wanted to get some more information.
I had extra copies here. I think I made about 30 total. If you wanted to take some with you, and then you happen to stop into one of the businesses, you could certainly hand it out or hand it out to anyone else.
Sounds good.
So I'll leave them over here.
All right, thanks, Sean. John, thanks for working
So,
on that.
were we able to get it on? Obviously, I'm not there to see it. Is it on kind of nice paper, or is it
This one
regular
is
copy?
not, but for future, we can put it on more of a hard stock, cardstock, sorry, not hard
Okay.
stock. Cardstock paper. I just have to find some. The stock here is not the
Okay.
greatest.
Do you need a motion or anything?
Do we need a motion to approve the flyer? I mean, do we need to buy cardstock as a committee?
No.
No? Okay. All right. If John wants cardstock, I think we can get some from Dunder Mifflin in Nashua. I don't know if that branch is still open. So do I have a motion to approve the flyer?
I'll make
Make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. So, Dick.
Yes.
All right. John.
I'm gonna go with a yes.
All right, cool. You made it. If you went with a no, I'd be a little concerned. Jeremy.
Yes.
All right, Chet.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Bonnie's not here. Ellen.
Yes.
Joanne.
Yes.
And also yes, and Charlie's not here. So that motion carries with 7 yeses and 2 not here. So
And I just wanted
8
to
yeses.
thank both of them for their work and
Yeah,
Jeremy for the use of his photography.
That's a
excellent.
great
Yeah, this
picture,
looks
Bob.
great.
That's a really great picture. Bob.
Yeah.
You should see, he has, so just shout out to Jeremy, he has a number of really great photos there. So we'll have an ample supply for any other, material that we develop. So kudos, Jeremy, they're really great pictures.
This is on the top of your house, right, Jeremy? Not in that room.
I do have one thing, to begin with, there are a number of great, I don't know who takes them, I see them on Facebook from time to time, what appear to be aerial photos. I don't know if they are or not, or who makes them. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the village.
This is a different, this is a
Not
different
Penarville.
view.
I was thinking of that too.
So
Yeah.
I'd like, keep that in mind, if the next time we publish something,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, could we just substitute a Bernardville picture in for some of them and then
We-
same content and just have,
Do you know of if there were Penardville photos?
In that folder, there was very few, if any, but I can remedy that extremely quickly.
Okay. And then
Extremely
we could
quickly.
have like 2 sets. That's what I did a few years ago when we did something, I don't remember what it was, but I did a set for Penardville and a set for the village, so it's not to offend
The-
I
anyone.
thought that would be a nice idea.
It is. The only challenge with Bernardville is that it does sprawl
Yeah,
geographically
yeah.
more. So even with the drone shot, it is difficult to get.
Well, but if, as long as we know when we're looking down, we see Mast Road.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the whole thing, this
Right.
isn't the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I just thought, because we represent all.
do we need an amendment to that motion, just to include some with Bernardville, or just,
I don't think so.
you don't think so? Okay. All right. Cool. This is great. So we'll just have Bernardville and some and Village and the other. This is awesome. Main Street parking solutions. Seemed like a pretty hot button topic the last time we were here.
So the old or the former master plan had contained a map for some suggested parking areas. Now, I think most of these suggested ones are on private property. I did contact Eric Fletcher about the parcel that he has for sale in the village, adjacent to the post office. But someone's looking into doing something other than a parking lot on that site. So I don't know of a whole lot of land that's actually available. Whenever the Factory Street apartments start to get built, there is a clause in there that they will have about 20 parking spaces. It's supposed to be mainly used for people using the rail trail, but I'm sure some of them could be used for, it's basically public space.
On the other side of the trail, or on?
Yeah, it's on the other
Okay, so
side.
that's kind of far for
Right.
businesses.
And so the businesses where you need to carry heavy things, like the quilting shop, I'm not sure what the solution would be. They do have the parking spaces out front, and their concern is that most of those are being used by surrounding
Yeah,
businesses.
'cause none of them. There is, I did drive behind, am I allowed to say that? To take a look. I guess that's, whoever owns the building owns that piece between the buildings and the trail. And there appears to me to be room back there to create more parking. I don't know how many parking spots are needed for the businesses and the tenants.
Yeah.
Okay? And there seemed to be a spot that if it were cleared up, there's a lot of stuff piled up there. There could be more back there, but then again, that's the private property owner, right?
Right.
Because I also know, I think I mentioned it before, even at apartments, they're problem parking. I've gone there a number of times and I couldn't park. There's no place to park. So,
Yeah, I just came past Putnam's and all the cars were in front of the Night Owl from people that were just walking across the street to go back to their cars. So, yeah,
so it's
it's tough.
It's tough.
The property behind the quilt shop, Ellen. That, well, isn't that, who owns that building now? You know,
No, I don't know
You know,
who the
Julie?
landlord is.
could they,
Well-
shouldn't some of that parking be with the business?
I wasn't
If they're-
clear from the owners when they came that night whether they've talked to their landlord. about clearing space. Does anyone remember? I don't think they said anything about that.
Oh,
So
actually, I
that's
can see it
something.
on here.
Yeah, you can see it on the
Oh, you
map.
can see it on here. I
Right.
didn't realize it was there.
was gonna
You
look
can
it
see
up.
their space.
Yeah. Because I remember there's a dwelling behind there too, isn't there? I mean, a small,
right here, right?
no?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware
That's it,
of,
for the-
just these
that's
two.
these 3 buildings right here.
Yeah.
And over toward the end, closer to the river is where I saw a pile of
Nice to meet you.
debris.
Yeah, that, I think that's what I was thinking of. Debris.
But on this, there's also, and maybe it's already there and I just don't know it, behind the hardware store, behind Ace. This is showing parking and river access. Is there a river access there?
You can walk down to the
You can walk
river
down,
from
yeah.
Ace's parking lot.
Yeah.
And just kind of sit down
Okay, this is
there.
behind Ace. This is showing parking. I don't know that this parking is there, and that's why I'm asking. Is this parking there, or, and who owns that land?
You're talking about right behind the building?
Yeah.
That's where they have a lot of their bulk material storage. That's where
That's
Ace.
here?
Correct, yeah, right
Oh,
along
yeah.
that line is where Ace
So
is.
Ace owns all
Yeah,
of
They,
this?
they have a lot of their
Okay.
bulk
Yeah.
material storage there.
Yeah.
Because this, doesn't this also show a roadway going around? When we have depot, and then we have, there's no road there, right?
No, there's no road there.
So
You're
this
talking
is
about-
showing a road,
Where are you talking about, right?
right here.
That's a park.
Oh,
Ace.
behind the building?
Yeah.
No, that's just land between the buildings.
Yeah, it's just,
The-
it's more of a storage area.
Yeah.
And
So,
further down, just down that same area where it says park, I think
Yep.
that's the land that I was just
Fletcher.
mentioning, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really a park.
I
It's
mean,
just
so
a
I guess
big
the question is, what solutions can we present if we had any to this without, just pointing out parking spots?
What's all that parking that's back here? What's all this parking for?
I'm assuming there's no option to attempt to purchase the land?
Oh, yeah.
The town would have to do that.
There's an option to do that.
Okay.
To attempt, not, I shouldn't say option to do, but an option
Yeah,
to attempt
right.
to do that.
How about
Yeah.
leasing instead of purchasing?
Yeah. It's common to do like a 99-year lease sometimes on things like that, so we can take a look.
Down Mill
Okay.
Street, there's a whole bunch of parking.
Yeah, that's what I was
Is
just
that what
looking
you're
at.
looking at? Yeah.
The parking here and then the parking over here behind,
Right.
where the common is.
Mm-hmm.
What is all that parking? Is
Mm.
that for multifamilies there or?
so
I don't think
the
that's
the
really
municipal
there.
parking, if I remember correctly, and
That's
Chad, please correct me if I'm wrong, the municipal parking was expanded behind the monument. If I remember correctly, didn't they add some parking spots, some public parking spots
By
back
the,
By the
back
laundromat?
by the monument, by the laundromat? Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Laundromat, yeah.
That's public.
So they did expand the parking there. Going back to your earlier question, Greg, I think one of the best things we can advise business owners to do is to identify the public parking areas that are near enough to their business to be of value, and use their own communication channels, social media, website,
Yeah.
et cetera, to get the word out to their clients and potential clients where the optimal parking is. That would be the best. We're not gonna solve that problem here in this room.
No, I agree.
So
Yeah.
we really have to pass some of that, as harsh as it sounds, I believe, onto business owners to get the word out to their clients. We understand parking's tricky, here's the spots we've identified that are fairly close to our business,
Yeah.
et cetera.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I guess I think-
Wasn't one of the issues though, is for the quilt shop
Yeah.
that they come and they have to drop off their machines?
and then walk a ton.
And then they have to, and it's fine to have to walk somewhere, but to not have a loading zone there for them to drop, I mean, those machines are heavy, I know. And, you can't just schlep them down the road.
Right.
Some people have like a roller.
Mine's a roller, but it's still heavy.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. You see loading zones in other businesses. What would it take to designate a loading zone, between the hours of such and so, whatever?
Right.
Is that
Does
some
that
parking commission?
take a,
That would probably need to go
Takes a-
to highway safety.
Isn't
committee.
that what we discussed, that we would have to go to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
highway and safety.
They meet
Yeah.
next week, but their agenda is pretty
So-
full,
And they meet like once every 3 months, right? Is that what? Is that
4
what we?
times a year.
Yeah.
You know, the landowner, the landlord owns the land in the back, and I'm assuming the businesses have a rear access.
Yeah.
I would think that would be the place to put one, so, I mean, not for us to do, but for the
Right.
tenants to contact and say,
Well, I mean,
Whatever.
but if it was a town lease for those spots, that wouldn't be something that the towns we could, I mean, if something that was presented, I don't know if that's through the select board shed or,
I'll give Selectman Lemay a heads up that we'll be looking to get on the agenda for that and talk about it.
Especially if it's like the town coming forward, I'm sure they'll add it to the agenda.
Do we have the capability to, as a town, to designate certain parking spots for certain businesses, for the public parking?
I want to say no.
No.
Can you keep me honest though? I
They-
think that's
the-
come up before and
The Blue Moose wanted to do that. They wanted to have one or two spots out front during the pandemic busy
No pickup.
time when they were doing mainly carry out.
Mhm.
And they went to the highway safety, and basically they were told you can't really do that. Try to work an arrangement with your landlord to have some more parking back here adjacent to their building.
Okay.
So what they did instead was they put a sign on their window that said, carry out available, you know, basically like park in the front if you can find a space.
Right, right.
It brings up issues of preferential treatment
Yeah.
with public spaces. As far as the night owl goes, you know, another thing is if they know of people who are coming in with their equipment, they themselves can perhaps offer some sort of a retrieval service. You know, if you come in, tell us where you're parked, we will send someone out to. And I know that's difficult because they're a very small operation. They have a limited number of people working for them, but we want to try to help them solve their problem, but they may have to do some of that themselves as well. So.
Where exactly
I can't remember, did they say when they came, had they
Yeah.
gone
I
to
know it's
the
like back here.
insurance,
Yeah,
company?
they-
And I don't know if they
yeah, I
have
feel like they
any
said they didn't
availability.
want it to be
With-
part, that they pretty much chain off their lot after they close and they don't want any other parking people in that, lot.
Right, but would they have the opportunity to lease a couple of spaces from that landlord? You know, if they were to, you know, if there was some kind of financial, you know, lease agreement or something that they could arrange. I don't know if they approached that or if that's a possibility.
I don't think they've talked to him. He has been very adamant all along that he doesn't want even anyone going in there to turn around. And they just leased out the other half of that building to an antique auction house. No auctions would be taking place there, it would be their office space. And, you know, they have ample parking for themselves. And I don't know what their hours are, but I would assume they wouldn't be open in the evenings. And again, there would be spaces available if the landlord was receptive to doing that, but I'm not sure that anyone's actually approached them.
This is where. Gotcha, interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so, see what we can do to help the town, well, have the, you know, help them, you know, provide guidance on what they can do, and then we'll see if, what the selectmen can do in terms of leasing spaces, and we'll just go from there. I think we'll probably just keep this on old business for the next agenda.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Further discussion of the master plan.
Ellen wanted to continue that discussion on the agenda. I think she
People have
had,
looked at it and there are, you know, things on there that call for key action items, and I'm just wondering, does this committee look at those things? It's because it calls for zoning ordinance changes in village areas, developing a commercial area over in Grassmere. There's just a bunch of stuff that I'm thinking, looking at with regard to, let's see, Economic Development Council, study feasibility of needs to steps of the TIF discussion. Wasn't that at this committee?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did that already.
Yeah,
Um,
talked about TIF.
No tip.
ID additional land for commercial industrial development, things like that, looking at, and then the infrastructure. There's just quite a bit in here. There's a whole section, Appendix B for economic development. And I didn't know if this committee wanted to give itself an assignment to study this and see what, if anything, in here we can be doing or discussing with other groups. I mean, there's discussion here about water and sewer.
So I think some of the water and sewer items may be coming up once the select board talks about that federal money and what they're planning to do with it.
Some of that will be addressed there.
Yeah.
Yep. But Ellen, I want to speak to your larger point, if you don't mind.
Good.
The Economic Development Council, in a very practical way, we meet once a month. And one of the things that I believe has crippled this council is too many goals within too short a time frame. So I do think that we should look at these items that you bring up, and I do think we should pick 1 or 2 a year. I think that's feasible. I think anything beyond that is not. I also think it would be helpful for us to try, and I understand everyone's busy. Greg and I were just talking on the way here. Everyone is busy. Second day of school, I was dropping kids off this morning. Busy, right? But if we can find a way to coordinate with some other boards, like I do think expansion of sewer for the purposes of becoming more business friendly is a huge deal. So maybe that's one that we pick next year or the year after in coordination with the Sewer Commission and DPW. Karen's role here, thank you, is absolutely, I think, key to site-ready plans and working with the planning board. Working with the planning board on any site-ready plans to become more business-friendly, to say, hey, we've got site-ready plans here, we've got sewer going up to it, or if we don't, this is what the regulations are, this is what you need to follow. And no pressure, honestly, because all you do is you take what we say, you bring it back to there, you ask them, and that's it. But the coordination between these two boards is huge. Without the planning board supporting what we do, any goal we have is potentially dead in the water. Not because that they're malicious, but because without that coordination, you can trip over each other. So I do think you're on point. I think we picked 1 or 2 a year. This year was the sector by sector business, which we couldn't do because COVID hit.
I was just gonna say, your idea from last year,
Yeah.
I'd like to see us do that.
I would too, once we feel like there's more parity in it, because right now with COVID, if we were to pick one section first, it does look like, as you said, preferential treatment, but I'd like to go back to that. The pedestrian bridge is certainly making progress. I think that's great. I've offered all the support to that committee. I think did we fund the feasibility study?
Yes.
Yes.
We funded that.
Oh,
So,
they did?
yep, so anything else that we can do from there, but I think we
I
picked 1 or
think it
2.
was contingent on the Rotary Club giving permission, so I don't know where that's at, but this board did vote to do that.
Right.
I mean, just going off what Chet said too, so like, we still have a lot of things going on. We're meeting once a month, I think, because we have bingo going, and that's an ongoing thing. I mean, for at least this committee, that's a pretty decent lift. Like, and we got on WMUR. It's good PR. It's good for the town. You know, we're taking up this parking thing. We have the UNH co-op going on, and also we're advocating for businesses. Like Coach Chad said, I think taking 1 or 2 manageable things from the master plan, I think is a good idea. But if we're going to go for the gusto, I think we're already dead in the water with that. So I think, you know, if we're going to pick something that's you know, something that we could probably manage quite easily off of this.
I think that would
but
be great.
Yeah.
But it's good to have the master plan as that basis.
Right.
You know, 'cause
Right.
it says it, you know,
It
people
actually
put time
lists
into
things.
that and say.
And they talk about the
This is
the 114 corridor, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
and we don't necessarily do it, but if we did some preliminary look-see and make recommendations or suggestions or requests of the planning board,
Right.
I think that's great. Take on 1 or 2 things. That's
I will
great.
say that there's a great interest right now in Goffstown from small businesses looking to come here.
Well, they look at this committee, and that's what they want.
Yeah. The other towns are getting sort of built out, and they're now coming to look to expand or just set up a new business. As you know, Domino's is planning to open shortly.
What plaza?
That's the
What
Fun
plaza?
City
The Fun City
trampoline.
Plaza, thank you.
But the sign still calls it
Yes.
Shaw's.
Yes.
Is it the
they
Fun
need
City
to
Plaza
change
now?
That's
that.
what I call it, because Shaw's hasn't been there for years.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Fun
should
City's
really
there.
change that sign, but they won't. There's some coffee shops looking to come in, waiting to hear final results on that. We have a new microbrewery opening
did see that.
soon.
I saw that.
Is that
Really?
in
Where's-
It's in the same plaza,
Where is it?
in the same plaza, the Fun City
Oh, it is?
Plaza.
Fun City /
And
Shaw's
it's
Plaza.
he actually lives on my street, the guy that's doing it, he's a local, longtime resident. And then the new projects have been more funneled around residential. Everybody wants to do either 55 and older housing or just multifamily housing. The project on Bow Road has been, Bog
Yeah.
Road has been, I'm thinking of Hooksett, has been finalized, and they have already received the go-ahead to start doing what they're doing over there.
And how many units is that?
That one is 72, 71 or 72. The project, as you can see right in front of the villa, is going along, and that one is 41.
41.
55.
Are those
Those are
apartments
55
or
plus
condos?
condos.
Oh, no, yeah.
They're condos.
The ones on Bog are rental.
They're rentals.
The ones at the Factory Street, 99 rental. And that has not started yet. That, I think that's gonna be a little ways out before they get
I
going.
just keep thinking of the traffic at those two spots. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, we had traffic studies.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
Victor's Pizza just changed ownership.
Yeah, I
Oh, they
saw
did?
that, yeah.
From this other pizza place that was kind of like a short-term ghost
Was it Ray Street?
restaurant, Ray
They call
Street
it?
Pizza. He started in his home on Ray Street in Manchester, and then he branched off into so he was leasing someone's kitchen, commercial kitchen, in the mill yard, and now he's here. So he's in the process of changing over the menu. So that'll take a little time. He also wants to put a little bar in there, if, you know, people want to
Really?
sit there and eat and have a beer or something.
Don't you think that once we see what the money is going to spend for infrastructure, for your waters and sewer, and expanding maybe those things, that's going to open up some land as well that will be good for business. I
And
mean,
we
I
had-
think that's been an issue for Goffstown coming into the
Yeah.
village. Not so much
Yeah.
Pernideville, but coming into the village, that's been an issue.
We had several meetings, probably 2 years ago now, with the owners of the villa property wanting or needing
Yeah.
natural gas.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, gas,
And
yeah.
we met with Mark Stevens, who was a member of this board many occasions, and Liberty didn't think it was feasible, practical for purposes of how much it would cost versus what they would gain back in customers. So we'll have to kind of
What
just,
kind of business was it?
it's the same business that they have now in Hudson. They would move it
What kind
up. I think it's like I forget exactly what they do, if they make, it's
Widgets.
production, yeah.
Widgets.
They make something.
They manufacture
It's a
something.
Yeah.
mystery, it is really a mystery.
I don't really know
Like
what
Nancy, a
actually-
Factory.
I don't remember off the top of my head, it's been 2 years now, but they did want to come up, and they said the only way they could do it is with natural gas because of the way
There
they.
wasn't a discussion when the condos on Mass Road were being built as far as gas
Yes,
service?
The problem with the condos is that a developer bought that property, went through the approval process, and then sold it to a builder, LaMontagne.
Oh.
And by that time, it was planned to have tanks for, propane tanks. And I think they're underground.
I think they are too.
And
Very-
we pointed it out to them and everything, but they said, well, we're not waiting for that. So it could be converted at some point, but, not right now.
Sewer, water, gas. in the, I don't know, if underground, high-speed internet stuff.
So that's actually, I
I
have
saw
something
that
here.
something from Consolidated recently.
Yeah,
about
that's,
doing that.
it's actually
They want
going up
underground?
right
Are
now.
they-
You'll see
I
the
don't know.
trucks
Oh,
all
so
over
it's
I have no
town.
idea.
Yeah.
If we don't have natural gas
Well, I
conduits, I
can't
don't
tell you
think.
what could go underground, and that's a tunnel underneath the village for the traffic.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Don't put that in the minutes.
Consolidated has been
Yeah.
all over town. I'm sure you've seen their trucks. Or
Yeah.
it's not actually their trucks, it's someone else's trucks, but it's for them. And if you go onto their website, there is a description of what they're going to be doing, and they're going to be offering it to Goffstown customers. Now, again, it's one of those, like a Chinese menu of choices. And it also has, a clause like, for the first people who sign up, you get a break for a year, kind of thing. So you have to be careful with it.
So
But,
when are they running? I'm assuming it's fiber that they're running.
so they're
through?
running fiber, 1 gig internet. I don't know anything about this, so.
Oh, I do. Are they doing it for a commercial as well, or is it just? Are they
No,
just
residences.
Just
too,
residents only.
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's both. I
Oh,
think.
it's okay. So
Yeah,
they're-
the
okay.
prices are here for, depending on what type of plan you choose. And then, of course, there's additions for the other telephone and everything
Now,
else. that-
are they running municipal fiber as well, side by side, or are they just
Don't
going to?
know.
Okay.
I don't know. But they've been all over the place, so
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but
No, it's good. That's a good thing. Yeah, this area is in desperate need. Besides, the big one for.
yeah, well, I
high
think
speed
there's
internet.
a definite need
There's never
for,
been any competition.
Yeah,
with
there's-
Right,
Comcast.
right.
There's been
Yeah.
no choices.
there's
Exactly.
definite need for choice.
Yeah, we
And
thought FiOS was going to come up this way, and then that just stopped.
that
so-
was Verizon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're paying through the nose right now, in my
Yeah.
opinion, but
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
Okay.
I think a
cool.
lot of people have switched over.
Because I think
to
right now
other-
it's only like 3 megabits per second. That's nothing right now. So, and that's what we have in Penardville. I don't know what they're running.
Yeah,
Totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's slow. 3 megabits is slow.
Yeah, it is.
It is,
They used to be fast, like back in like 2000.
Right. At one time it was fast, right?
waiting for
Yeah.
AOL to come on.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably too young for that.
Dial up, right?
You used to just sit there, almost fall
Or you pick
asleep.
up the phone and you press all the buttons
done.
to disconnect.
Done.
I remember that.
All right, that's cool.
That
All
is
right, maybe, I don't know, do we want to take a look at the plan again and then come back and see what we have for what we want to talk about next meeting? Like what are the master plan goals we want to take up for next one?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to set a month
Yeah.
for this committee and council in general, where we say this is our new goal for the next year, and at that same meeting, do nothing else but review whether
Yeah.
we met the goals for the other items or not,
Yeah,
and I think we want to continue with those, or
yeah,
find 2 new ones. I think two I think is good.
Yeah, 2 is-
Although it's an arbitrary number, because one of those might be a
Right.
huge project.
I agree, totally agree.
But I think it would make sense to pick a month where we do that. Joanne, is there one reason or another we should pick a certain month where we pick the new goals?
Well, the reorganizational meeting is not until April. So, because the town, well, you guys aren't really affected because you're not running for office, but the appointments are made sometime during the month of March by the select board. I'd have to check to see which one of you would need to be reappointed.
Right.
I can look that up for next meeting.
Might be me. I think I'm it.
Can we also add the bingo? Because I
Yeah,
hate to
so-
say it, but next month is October and we're going to go into the holiday season.
So when you
I did say that a lot,
mentioned,
didn't I? I have trouble controlling inner
School
monologue.
starts,
my
and the
boy.
next thing you know.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, actually, no, it's June.
It's snowing.
at the last meeting when you mentioned the bingo,
Yeah,
we actually didn't start up the bingo game until, I want to say, March or
Yeah, it
April
was-
Yeah, it was later.
of next year. Is that the same timeline you want to stay on, or?
do we want to move it to around Black Friday time? So, because hopefully if we have like, especially if they have, there's a small business Saturday, I think that's a really
Yeah,
good
yeah.
opportunity
Okay, okay.
for the small businesses in the area.
And I really am sorry, and I don't want to speak this into existence, but I think that the businesses could be most affected if there's any sort of slowdown when people have to be inside, so it makes sense.
Sure,
to make the
yeah.
best time to throw it.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue with it, having the bingo game for the restaurants, or?
Well, I think when we talk about, didn't we say we're gonna have the gift certificates for the businesses that are
Okay.
non-restaurant,
Okay,
but we encourage them to visit restaurants?
okay.
Right.
Yeah. And if we need to fill up space on the cards, if we don't have enough restaurants participating, maybe we can have small businesses in the area also be in the cards as well.
Okay.
Just an idea, just a thought.
So they would
Yeah.
take, so just so I get a handle on this, so they would play the bingo game by
Yep.
visiting the local, say, retail stores
Yep, or restaurant.
or restaurants. So
Yeah.
so
Local
both.
business.
Local
Local
business.
business,
Any
just
of them.
local in
Yeah.
general, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got it.
Then the gift cards would be for,
For
again,
the,
non-restaurant.
Non-restaurants.
Non-restaurants, right.
okay. All right.
All right, so we'll talk about that next meeting as well. Geez, I feel like we're filling up next meeting already.
It's
I
okay,
know.
though.
It's okay.
That's right.
It's been a while, we're just
Right,
Yeah.
regrouping.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay. So, all right, so now we're gonna talk the American Rescue Plan.
Did you get one of these?
For me.
Yeah.
No. I mean, those I send it up.
Yeah.
You did some quite a bit.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So, there were some questions that were raised about how this all works, and Derek had responded in an email to Ellen that the select board voted to accept the local fiscal recovery funds under the American Rescue Plan Act in June. And now they're collecting information to, they had to respond back that they were interested in doing this, but the real guts of what they would be asking for would not be done immediately, because they have to check with the water precinct, and the sewer precinct, and the, department heads, and put together a real action plan of what they're going to go forward with. When I spoke with Derek, there were certain years, I mean, it's like out 4 or 5 years. So each year you do a little bit more, and then everything has to be completed. I think he said like 2025.
How
Or
much money was it?
26.
How much money was it for us?
I don't think he mentioned it
Oh,
here.
I was looking quickly, I didn't see.
Yeah, I didn't see it in
I
here.
don't think he mentioned
No.
the exact amount. But it's basically for public health, replacing public sector revenue loss from the pandemic, water and sewer infrastructure, equity-focused services, negative economic impacts, premium pay for essential workers, broadband, and ineligible uses are also supplied. So it's not like you can just take this pot of money and,
Right.
Right.
How
build
much,
a
do we know how much is
school or
allocated?
something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this like separate of what school districts get, or like Goffstown
Yes,
School
they-
District?
Yeah.
They get their own pot of money,
They're
right?
getting
Yeah.
money for lots of things, and when I was at the school board meeting on Monday, the business administrator did say that they may even come in with a level funded budget this year based on all of that excess money, which would be really nice.
Yeah, I work for a school district too, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
So this has 10 counties will share 264 million. So the county gets the money, then according to the population, that's how they disperse
Yes.
the money to each of the
It
towns.
goes by population.
If you
Population.
look back at the minutes, I remember voting on this, and there was a number mentioned. It certainly was not inconsequential, but it was an estimate. I can't remember, do you remember?
I don't remember,
It's
but
in
it
the
was
minutes though,
significant.
from July,
Probably
June?
June.
June. I think it'll be the second meeting in June, so we can try to look back and find that, I think, maybe the first.
He said that you voted on it in June, so it must have been that meeting,
Yeah,
that last meeting in June.
okay. Yeah, so that's
It looks like 5 of the 13 cities let's see, Manchester and Nashua would be in Hillsborough County where we
Yeah.
are. So they, it looks like they get their own piece of the pie, where the other counties gets the smaller towns, is what happens. Okay, just want to make sure I'm reading that right.
May I ask another question?
Go
Because
ahead.
you know, Chair. Having just finished CIP, there's no huge plans on CIP for this infrastructure kind of work. Is it, I know from the school side, we've put the money toward the things we've had, big projects that weren't CIP. That's where we don't have to put it in budgets and stuff. Or do, but it's a counter, we have a revenue source.
Yep.
There's nothing like that in our CIP for the town side to expand water, sewer, whatever. Does it have to already be on it, or can a town create that?
The town can create it. So
Okay.
the CIP planning tool, and I'll be very brief, is really just meant, based on what we now know for a
planning
sure thing, what is
It's
likely
a
to happen.
planning tool.
This will be found money.
Yep.
And then the select will be waiting on the department heads in town and some other people to make suggestions about how we can move forward.
Was it like over $1 million or?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Should be, yeah.
Probably several.
It was very significant.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well, it says in this thing that I found online, so just as an example, Bedford has 22,828 population, and they are receiving, looks like 2.3 million.
So that would be
2,368,000,
Very close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more than twice.
and we're
that.
like
It's like,
18.
18.
Yeah,
A little over
18.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds like what, $10,000 per resident?
If you just did that math in your head, I'm very impressed.
Count yourself impressed.
Assuming we can't use it to.
How many
fix
people
the
do we have
pool
in
up
town?
our park?
He said about 18, so
18.
18.
Okay.
probably 1.9, whatever you get.
No,
it, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeez.
That would be the whole thing.
yeah, okay.
yeah.
Maybe 1,000, I'm sure it's 1,000. I don't know.
Well,
I was just afraid we were missing the deadline, that's why I kept emailing. Are we in, are
Tuesday
we in?
was 1,000. What was that?
So when is
That's
the
the
select
agenda.
board, the select board is voting on how to spend the money at some point in the future?
Yeah, so eventually there'll be how much money we're getting for sure, what's the best way to spend it, and that will be, I think Danielle, Eric, and department heads will really coordinate and then bring us their recommendations. And
And I think there'll be a hearing on it, a public hearing.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure, yes,
And is that separate and apart from the budget?
Yes.
yes. I call it found money. You didn't know, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, sure.
Here's $5, it's found.
Woo-hoo.
$100 per person. So it's way off.
it would be great if whatever it's used for helps us in whatever way we can to broaden our tax base. With business along the corridor or out on Elm Street, back road, whatever it's called, wherever you go. It's got like 4 different names. If that could help, and that would help this committee with, the idea of what can we do for not only existing, but future.
Do you know what the town has for ideas and how to spend?
So right now, I think we're looking at the money and figuring out where our shortfalls are, speaking of CIP, what was in there that couldn't get done, what kind of emergency reactions did we have in DPW, we have so many different things to consider, so I know that we'll get the recommendations. The select board, more often than not, will go with the recommendations of the department heads. But I know certainly I've said forever that economic development's a goal of mine, period, so I'll certainly bring that up in the meeting when we talk about it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Expand the sewer.
Do you have any more comments on American Rescue Plan? No? Oh, money coming to Goffstown. Not a bad thing.
No.
Not a bad thing.
Happy.
Okay, that looks like all of our agenda today. Do we have a motion to
To adjourn?
adjourn?
Really?
Sorry, can I intercede
No,
for a moment?
Absolutely. No
I know you all want to get out of here, I just.
No.
way. I got another 2 hours carved
No,
out for
I
this.
wanted to share a quick experience with you that I had last month that might be useful for this committee. So 2 weeks ago, I was down in Atlanta for an industry conference, And as I was walking around, this is the largest unmanned technology systems conference in the country. That's the industry I work in, is unmanned systems. And I was surprised as I was walking the hall to see a little booth with a big sign on it that said Pasco County EDC. In Atlanta, Georgia, Pasco County, which is the county I was born in Florida, so that's really what struck my attention. They sent up a couple of EDC representatives because they have some projects that they think folks in the unmanned industry might have some interest in for opportunity in their county. So we don't have anything going on that big, but what I got to thinking about while I was interacting with the folks that were manning the booth was that trade show seasons are coming back, thank God. As COVID begins to dissipate, and hopefully if the Delta variant doesn't hit our area too significantly, I think we're going to continue to see more of the local trade shows. And there are several of them around the state that are focused on small businesses, that are focused on New Hampshire, Made in New Hampshire Expo, for example, among others. Would it be worth our while to put together some town information and get a handle on all the open properties that are looking for businesses to move in, and spend a little bit of time at a booth at some of these trade shows? Don't need an answer now, but just food for thought.
That's a great idea.
I have a flyer that I could bring to those trade shows.
John, it needs to be a card stock, okay?
Glossy.
Glossy card stock. All right, I think I like that
And
idea.
I like that idea.
I love that idea. I
As
think
long
it's
as
a great
we,
idea.
we know what we're looking to maybe get, what kind of feedback, and we're prepared for everything. What about, does this, I know in the past EDC has had one, I don't know if we want to do it again, but one or both days of the regatta, there's thousands of people that come down. We used to have, I'll call it a booth, for lack of another term.
We
where
did,
Yeah,
we
we
did that.
we show,
No, that was
you know,
Spring
the
Festival.
map
That was-
or
yeah.
whatever,
We did that a
and
few
things
years
that we've
ago.
done. I didn't know if this group wanted to.
Yeah, we did
participate.
that at Springfest. We had a booth and we had the rail trail and we had all
Yeah,
kinds
rail
of
trail
good,
was there,
we had
yeah.
all kinds of great information for people. A lot of people stopped by the booth. Kelly was there, you know, so it was
I
really
didn't know if
well
this we wanted
attended.
to.
Oh, and we also used to have the Small Business Expo at the high school.
Right.
Oh, that's
And
right.
that
Yeah.
looks like it's coming back.
That would be
The
great.
Rotary Club ran that, or no, the
No,
Lions
Lions
Club.
Lions
Lions
Club.
Club, yeah.
And another group looks like they're will likely pick it up and combine it with a job fair kind of thing. Because nobody can find people to work.
So we can
So-
put that on our agenda, maybe kind of scout around and see what might be coming up. That would be a great idea to do that. Thank you for bringing that forward. That's
Do we
awesome.
Good
know, I don't know if the master plan goes into as much depth about like what people would like to see in terms of types of businesses in the area?
Yeah, we took a survey, it's probably been like 2 years
Oh,
now.
I remember filling it out, but I don't
Yeah.
remember what was in it.
I can look back and find out the exact types, but it was basically, they'd like to see a boutique or maybe a bookstore or,
Coffee
things that
shops,
we don't
nice
have
little-
now,
yeah.
bakery,
Yeah.
you know,
Bakery, yes.
those kinds of
Could
things.
you please bring a pharmacy back to the village?
Yeah, speaking of which, what is going in, I saw Coming Soon, I'm driving by the old Cumbies and trying to read at the same time, and I can't read it. but-
It's a office for an auction house.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Okay,
auction
that's what
house.
you
And
mentioned,
where's
okay.
Chloe's going?
Yeah.
I think I heard she's
Chloe's,
moving.
it's not definite because that building has not sold, but she's looking to move in to Richard Thomas
'Cause he's moving.
space. But I also
Shuffle.
heard that
Yeah.
Blue Moose may be expanding
Doing the Goffstown
to
Shuffle.
some of it, but
that'd be
nothing's
great.
definite at this
I
point,
think
at
we
least
call this
not
the
to
village
us.
shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great if the Blue Moose expanded. I
Yeah.
mean,
Nice.
it's been really
It's so
promising.
tiny to
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, you can get some baked goods in there.
Yes, you can. But a really good bakery, oh my gosh. Oh God, we have so many. I was growing up, every time the churches let out, everybody went to the bakery before you went home.
Well, you went to where I lived anyway, you went to the Jewish and the Italian
Yeah.
bakeries.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And those
They were ethnic, yes, they were.
Awesome.
So Richard Thomas is moving into House Building, is that?
Yes, he
that-
purchased the house building, so he's moving.
Okay.
And then the this is what I've heard, nothing definite from him, that Chloe's would like to take some of his
His
space. And then whoever, we had several inquiries on the Church Street building that they're currently in,
Oh,
by people looking to do, one person wanted to do a wine bar, someone else wanted to do a cafe.
A wine bar sounds
Those
They had
sort
me at wine bar.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Is it open?
But what's the
bars
but?
do we need?
As many as we can, no.
decided
Well, a
to go
brewery, the
elsewhere,
trestle,
not
a wine
interested.
bar.
We've got a lot.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
that's good.
Bring those St. E's kids down
Yeah.
there.
That's an
Yeah.
old
That's-
building.
It is an old building. There's one that
Sometimes
was
that's
a
trouble.
2-bedroom apartment at the
Still
time.
business with that.
It's
still
actually a
business.
studio.
It's just a
So
studio.
the main floor of the apartment, you walk upstairs and the main floor is one open space, and then there's a spiral staircase
Yeah.
to a bedroom.
I guess,
Tiny.
if I may, my only concern with development, well, not my only, but I keep hearing more, not so much business coming, wanting to come out and develop, but all I ever hear is apartments. And
Yeah,
that
residential.
is something that as a citizen and a taxpayer and on a school board, really worries me. And then, of course, the traffic, which I don't know what anybody can do about that, but I see the push coming. I understand, you come out from a city, I get all that expansion. But, oh my Lord, people
Well-
talk about changing the culture of a town.
So look, the, I don't want to say the need for apartments, but the reasoning that they're building them is because of the price of the homes.
I understand,
And
I
I don't
understand.
see that changing.
well,
I had a realtor knock on my door.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, where would I go?
To one of the apartments being built, no, kidding.
Yeah, right. There you go. I can do that.
All right, I think we're gonna keep,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
You had one here.
All right.
Second.
All right, second.
Okay, did
Dick.
someone second?
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
John,
John.
John, you still there?
Gary left. He's like,
Oh, yeah, you want me first? Yeah.
Yeah, motion,
We got you.
We need the pattern, Greg.
yeah. Jeremy,
Yes.
Chet,
Yes.
Karen,
yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
I motion yes. We are adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.